other side. Give me a second. Hang on. Okay, we're going live. I can see it. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my Wednesday night live stream at 8:15 p.m. every Wednesday. Tim Wilms, you know this. I don't know what you're doing. We organized to be in designated time spots. But anyway, I'm here with my very beautiful boyfriend. I think the more I say that, people will keep believing it.
I mean, naturally, right?
Naturally. I mean, you are the most good-looking red-headed male I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I think might be the most eligible Ranger Bachelor now that Harry's and Ed Sheeran's out of the equation. I think I was number 3. And
Ed Sheeran is not attractive.
You don't find Ed attractive?
No,
he's a little cutie.
More attractive.
Okay, well, at least I'm still number 1.
Well, there was a cartoon character I really liked growing up. Have you ever heard of Captain Planet and the Planeteers?
No, I was a 90s baby.
So was I. Well, not 90s baby. I wasn't a 90s baby. But anyway, there's a redheaded guy with a ring, and he goes, fire! And fire comes out of the ring. And he was a redhead. I was like, he's so cute.
Sounds powerful. Sounds powerful. Maybe I'm number 2.
Exactly. Okay, well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. For those of you who Tim hasn't stolen, I'm here today with Dougal Cameron. Dougal Cameron has his own YouTube channel as well as Facebook page. Links are in the description box below. And you and your brother, as well as Joel Jamal, who happens to be on Tim's YouTube channel right now, but mainly. So exactly as we speak, thanks Tim. You guys, but mainly you and your brother, decided to start a YouTube channel, Carnage House Productions. What was the purpose of this? How did this come about?
Yeah, so it was actually with my older brother and my younger brother. So I've got an older brother who hasn't been in Australia since April. He's in Shanghai right now. But essentially, it wasn't even when I kind of thought about doing it, it wasn't even kind of close to what it is today. At the time when I was thinking about doing a podcast, when I was listening to a lot of people like, Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson and Crowder and Shapiro and all those guys who kind of had their podcast, I thought about doing one, but I was actually living in Shanghai at the time. Sorry, this is a long-winded story. In a foreign student dormitory, I had no Australian friends there. All my friends are international. I met a lot of interesting people, and I was planning to bring the microphones over to China and just talk to people about their country, about their views and stuff. And then anyway, before I left, one time when I was back in Australia, I bought the microphones, and me and my brother had we just did a test run on the mics, and we ended up talking for an hour. We talked about like the case for Trump. We talked about kind of gun rights. We talked about kind of libertarianism, a lot of different things. And we ended up releasing it, and a lot of people liked it. So we ended up kind of slowly but surely kind of developing it, I guess. And then kind of since February this year, when I came back from China, we've started taking it a lot more seriously.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, and you've actually gotten some pretty solid guests. You've had Bettina Arndt, you've had Ricardo Bossi, who you and I are both friendly with. And you've had
a little crash on India.
Ricardo Bossi.
Second boyfriend?
No, I have a lot of boyfriends apparently, but you're my number 1 at the moment. So.
Oh, good. Keep it that way.
We'll do. But you've also interviewed someone from Venezuela who somehow, idiotically, in my view, is still a socialist, despite the fact that socialism, the ideology that's been implemented in that nation, has completely ruined the country. So
yes, well, I share some of that sentiment about laying the blame of Venezuela, for the Venezuelan situation at the feet of socialism, at the hands. Well, Joel has been an absolute MVP of this YouTube channel and Facebook page and podcast, because he's been the one organising a lot of our guests.
Joel is fabulous. I love him. So I'm really angry that he's on Tim's show right now.
Yeah. I mean, so Joel is one who actually goes behind the scenes a lot of the time and gets like Bettina Arndt, gets this guy Daniel from Venezuela, very smart guy. Hope to have a second podcast interview with him. And a few other people. We got some big ones coming up. I mean, next Wednesday, Joel has organised for me to go into New South Wales Parliament House, do an interview with Mark Latham, which will be out in the next couple of weeks.
Which I already got that exclusive ages ago. Mark Latham has already been on my channel, ladies and gentlemen, but well done to the
yes. Well, what can I say?
Master Joel, not to like, you know, buy tickets on myself, but Joel and myself are fantastic networkers. We know how to network the shit out of things. So that's really good. You're having Mark Latham on, so that's something people can look forward to on your channel. Yeah,
let me know if you have any suggestions what we should talk to him about. But I got a few ideas. Hopefully I have some fun ones. I'm going to see what he thinks about marijuana legalization. That's definitely going to finish off at the because I reckon we can get it passed. But anyway,
ask him what he thinks about Beltran.
I'll ask him what he thinks about you.
Marxism, ask him about Marxism, and ask him about atheism as opposed to Christianity, and how, you know, because that's what I discussed with him, and he had really interesting answers. So yeah, because I recently saw him. I was recently with him a couple of weeks ago when I saw you.
Yeah, that's a dangerous duo if I've ever seen one.
It's a bit random. This is true. Yeah. Okay. So you've had a couple of great guests. What have you personally felt that you've learned from interviewing these political these people with different ideological political opinions?
Yeah, well, so I think that there's probably two different things I take away from it. One is what I actually learned during the interviews. So with Daniel, I learned he's from Venezuela. He kind of grew up during the Venezuelan crisis as it was developing. When I talked to like Bettina Arndt, when I talked to the guys from the Animal Justice Party, like I learned things during the interviews that I would never have known before. And I find that's very interesting. But also when I prepare for the interviews, I have to really question any beliefs that I have when I do the research. Because obviously on almost any topic where I'm getting someone to come in and talk about it because they're, you know, an expert or something, and it's like Bettina Arndt or someone, I have to start familiarizing myself with some of that content so I can at least orient myself within the discussion. So I find myself learning a lot more than I otherwise would have doing that. But I really enjoy it. I mean, I think that, well, at least I like to believe that the beliefs I have now are just a result of all the things I've learned previously and all the times I've been proven wrong. And I've kind of tried to integrate that into my own beliefs to the extent that I have them. So that's what I really love, you know, having people on and doing that research. It's really like a nice type of personal growth for me. It's something that I would do in my spare time if I could, but this is just really keeps me accountable and really keeps me developing.
For sure. Well, I think something that I find, tell me if you find this as well. This is a very, I'm actually getting something out of this interview, whereas I didn't from my interview last week. But anyway.
I've just seen that I was on the private chat. Now I've seen the live comments and I'm scared to look at the live comments.
Are you in StreamYard or are you in YouTube?
I'm in StreamYard.
Yeah, you can see all
a lot of I think you had, when you made a first picture about with us hanging out at the cafe, there was a few angry fans of yours and they might be coming for me in the live streams. I have to watch out.
It's because you're so attractive and they don't want to see me with you. And also because I'm ethnic and you're white. And a lot of the people who follow me are white nationalists and I don't deserve to mix with you.
Oh, am I that high?
Well, if you and I were to breed, you know, our children would probably end up like Latin look, and I would delete your redheaded ancestry.
Well, I mean, since I was living in China, I think you'd probably be an upgrade for in their eyes.
Indeed.
That feeling.
That's funny. Well, I was going to ask you, do you find that interviewing different people politically makes you emotionally more balanced and makes you politically more balanced? And what I mean is, in my real life, I've noticed that when my friends are very unreasonable with certain specific issues, I don't even mean political issues, just something personal to my life. They'll be like, well, I I don't like that, and because I don't like that, this, and this. Whereas I'm a lot more. I can ingratiate myself, open-minded, and I can ingratiate myself more and be far more objective than they can, and I can be like, look, I think that's a really shitty approach to take, but no worries, and I'll be so blasé, and I'll be so nice that then like a couple of weeks later they'll be like, oh, you're actually extremely you're far more kinder than I gave you credit for. You're far more objective than I gave you credit for. I've found that just I found that in the last 3 years that I've been doing this. You might have just found it in the last, because you've been doing it, what, a couple of months, about a year, less, yeah. But do you find that it changes you psychologically? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It does.
It was recently. I was on kind of like a university trip, and I was with one of my, me and my best friend went on it together. And you know, if you're not a little bit gay with your best friend, are you really best friends, right? And so anyway, we were.
These are all my friends in the background, and I'm not gay with any of them.
Yeah, but I mean, they're like medium friends then. But anyway, we had this type of some funny like gay banter. I don't know if your listeners would appreciate this, but they might appreciate the story. And anyway,
I'm hated for interviewing trans people, so keep going.
Oh yeah, you are. And then anyway, we ended up all the university groups together. We went out for like one big night on the town. It's like 2 a.m. Nobody can really put a coherent sentence together. And anyway, there's a big group of about 15 of us. And this one guy comes out and he says, we're all pretty drunk. He says, look, I've needed to, like, the homoerotic banter is really homophobic, I think, and you guys really need to stop it. And you just think like, and in the moment you're just like, that's totally fine. You know, you're allowed to think that, that's funny. We can have a disagreement. And I just had a little laugh. I didn't say anything. And then a few days later, a lot of other people on the group came up to me and said like, you know, I really appreciated kind of like how you treated people. You didn't like kind of escalate it. You were able to kind of be open-minded, but also, you know, you kind of were able to put yourself outside the situation in a sense. And I think that's what I really like to do when I interview people. I mean, I think Winston Churchill said the mark of an educated mind is to be able to entertain an idea without assigning yourself to it. And I like that idea. I like trying your best not to be married to your ideas.
I agree. I love that.
Release yourself from the emotional attachment. So I think, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it really helps. And I'm just curious, who else have you interviewed? What videos do you have being released this week?
Oh, I've got an A-list Australian celebrity who I'm looking at right now. No, so when Dia was in Sydney, she only recently got back to Melbourne. She came, she actually put in an A+ effort because we were probably like an hour away from each other, and she drove out to the DIY studio and we recorded a nice interview, and that's almost finished editing as we speak, and we'll have it ready for tomorrow night release. So if you go to Carnage House Productions and hit the subscribe button, if you smack it, click the notification button. I'm learning to say all these things. How exciting. You'll see the Dia interview tomorrow.
Yes, I was so pleased when you asked me to interview you, and we were going to do it online like we're doing now. But then I was like, wait, I'm going to be in New South Wales for 2 weeks. I ended up staying in New South Wales for almost a month. I feel like I want to stay there. Like I have a lot of
whirlwind romance.
Bloody hell. I want to stay there for you. But not just that. The fact is that over there, you guys have far more events. Like I went to the LDP event with the marijuana, which I really enjoyed going to.
How was that?
It was good. It was really good. The thing with marijuana is that I've always been for it, which I think surprises people. But lately, I'm actually more against it. I'm leaning more towards, because the more you lean towards things that are relatively progressive, the more progressive things you lean towards and you say yes to, you're actually digging a deeper hole into degeneracy. What are you giggling about?
Well, it might be true. I'm thinking about if it happens to me or not.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying I've never. I mean, clearly I'm pro. I used to be pro for a very specific reason because I've partaken. But like,
You don't want to incriminate yourself.
no. I've told everyone that when I've done it, it was in Holland. Was it Holland? The
Holland,
Netherlands.
Netherlands. I tell you what, that's funny. Have you seen when they like the American politicians come out and they say they'll be like, "I've done weed," or no, they'll get accused of doing weed, or they'll ask the question, "Have you ever done weed?" And they'll say, "Yeah, I've done weed, but I didn't inhale." And I think that's what Obama said. I've done weed.
Maybe I think it was Obama and Bush. I've done it. I inhaled, but like,
how can you not what? How can you do weed without inhaling it? Did you eat
makes
it?
no sense.
Did you make hash brownies? These guys might be secretly the biggest stoners in Washington. Who knows?
Yeah, no, exactly right. But no, I really loved being heading to your studio.
The pad.
Your pad, your crib, and doing the interview. That was
sounds
really
terrible.
It does sound terrible for many different reasons, but that's okay. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how you edited it together. You better have done it with dignity and not made me look bad.
No, you look absolutely gorgeous.
Aw, thank you. All right, let's move right along. I don't know how to react to that. How do you identify? Thank you. How do you identify politically? Are you a nationalist? Are you
they, them, it? No, I'm. What would I say? I don't know how much I like the idea. Like, if I say if I identify as something, I feel like it almost means
It's a bit cringy to say that now. I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's a bit cringy, but also I don't know how much I believe, and even the stuff I do believe, I reckon there's a good chance that I'm wrong on it. To say I identify as something means that it doesn't even mean that I'm sure it's correct. But as far as what I lean towards, I would lean towards individualism rather than collectivism.
Agree.
I would have a pretty strong support of capitalism and democracy. I would see nationalism is hard because I've always loved Australia, but now being on this YouTube scene where there's these different types of nationalists, I'm a bit lost in this quagmire of nationalism. So it's hard for me to say what type I am. I mean, I watch Australian. I like Australia in general. It's a great place. I love Australian sports. I support Australia at the Olympics. I thought that was nationalism, but apparently it's not anymore. Or maybe I was just never right on what it was.
Australia during the Olympics, I get so heated. I'm like, ah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's very good.
What else? I'm kind of libertarian in the sense that government out of the boardroom, out of the bedroom, I think is what I would lean towards. In terms of, it's culture and morality, I guess is kind of tied up in it. I mean, I was raised in a pretty Christian family. And I think I experienced probably the best version of Christianity that I've kind of ever seen, or any religion I've seen, is the religious influence that I've had from my family. So although if you ask me if I was, religious now, the answer would be, I don't know. In terms of, do I think there's an intelligent God up there? The answer is I'm not sure, but do I act in a way that would be in more ways rather than less in line with kind of biblical morality? Probably.
Okay.
But in terms of, do I do some things the Bible would say is sin and not regard it as sin and do it anyway?
We all sin.
But at the same, I mean, there's some sins which I don't really mind. And so that's my issue.
You take it up the ass. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, well, I mean, that firsthand. I'm going to get in trouble from that.
We're joking, ladies and gentlemen. We are joking.
But yeah, no. So that's kind of me. I'm a lot of it is I don't know, and that's kind of. I mean, I think we still have that in our Instagram bio. Maybe it's me and my brothers. We have no idea what we're doing, and that's kind of the part of the pitch of the show, is that we don't take ourselves seriously. We're all learning.
We can laugh. Yeah.
We and it's pretty fun. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's all right. What about so you said when I was at your apartment, you said, and guys, I don't mean that in a seedy way. That's where his freaking interviews are held. I don't want anyone to think anything stupid. Anyway, so when we were hanging out up in New South Wales, you had, and I don't know if I'm outing you by saying this and making you look worse, but I actually mean this as a compliment. You hadn't realised that there were so many different types of nationalism. And then I explained to you that I was neither civic nationalist or completely white nationalist, and that I purposely stay in the middle on the fence, and that makes me, in the eyes of many, to be really ridiculous. Anyway, point is, have you figured out where you stand on that? Because I know that you're sort of not afraid, but you're very cautious with certain things. Like when I asked you to share my video that women shouldn't be in politics, you didn't want to share it.
Yeah, that was before we'd even met, and I was like, "Who is this girl?"
I do impose myself on people. I can admit that I do that. I'm like, share my videos.
Yeah. No, I do. You called me a cuck. I remember that, and I was like, "All right, we're playing. We're playing."
So mean, aren't I?
Yeah, but no, on that issue, I don't really know. It's very hard for me to say. I'd prefer to leave it to give it a wide leave. But I mean, I have previously over the past few years, I stumble upon some of the content on YouTube. I watch it. I mean, am I like offended in? Sorry?
There's a white nationalist, a Red Ice TV is a fantastic channel. I've been communicating with Lana Lochtef for quite some time. You might find some of what she says interesting. I'm not saying I agree with all of it, but it's absolutely
yeah. Well, I mean, if you ask me, like, am I offended about that? Like Japan, South Korea, Israel, maybe more countries have ideas of nationalism which are tied to ethnicity. Like, I don't really care. But at the same time, do I think that Australia's national identity should be tied to like whiteness? I would say no.
Because why?
Well, because I mean, white people weren't the first people here in the first place. That does seem kind of strange.
Sure, that's true. However, white people did build and colonize the country that we currently have. And I say we, I'm not even part of that. I'm an intruder. But like the judicial system that we have, all of that stuff was your ancestors, your great grandfather.
And how much, like, but on that, like, I don't think that I'm not sufficiently convinced that the cultural and political institutions they created had anything to do with the skin color. In the same way, like, I wouldn't claim. So, like, if you look at the best, like, inventors or writers or whoever, like, I think that a lot of the things that progress, like, civilizations forward, are actually individuals. They're not people. And as much as you might be able to draw, you can draw links between like skin color and IQ and things like that. I don't think that the skin color element takes responsibility for.
No, and that's why I'm on the fence. What you just said, I find it really, really stupid. Okay, so this is something that I think you'll agree with me on. Conservative, so many of us, in the United States, African Americans claim you owe me reparations because of what your ancestors did. But the people of today, the white people of today, didn't own slaves. It was their ancestors, and it was actually a very small minority that owned slaves. So that in itself is retarded. I find that really, really stupid.
Yeah. I mean, you are, as far as I can tell, I think the right level of social analysis is at the individual level.
Yes.
I think as much as you can, it's good to judge people on what they can choose rather than what they can't choose. And I think, like, the idea that you have like a background story by virtue of your skin color is one that I don't think is helpful at all. I don't think it's helpful. And I think that's all I would say on it. At least
Sure.
for right now, that's what I think.
No, that's fine. And I think you should come. People can say what they want in the comment section that you need to be red pilled. But the thing is, though, that everyone comes to their don't be offended. But everyone comes to their own. No, I know you. I know you'll laugh it off, water off a duck's back. But everyone comes to their own realizations when they come to them, and they come to their own realizations. That's fine. What I was going to say is that what conservatives do that bothers me, or the white nationalists particularly, and like I don't mind them giving me a counter argument. I just, this isn't me attacking them. This is just me noting a hole in their argument. So if it is wrong for a black person to say to a white person, you owe me money, by the same token, the white people of today are not the ones who built the country. It was their ancestors. So if we're about individualism, then we're about individualism. Don't claim what your ancestors did. What are you doing now? And so that, I think, is where you and I might agree, which is why I'm neither a civic nationalist nor a nationalist, because both arguments to me are on rocky foundation. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that sentiment. I also think that I think you should generally spend more time focusing on what you can change rather than what you can't change. And in that sense, like, I think you should be spending much more time like developing your own life than you should be, I think, and developing your own identity than developing like an identity with a collective. And in that sense, like, I would say that there's collectivism on the right and on the left. And I think that individual identity is that's my favorite, and that's where I'm at currently as a 21-year-old white male. I much prefer the individual. I'm almost transparent. I much prefer the individual level.
No, that's fine, and we can get off that subject now. I don't want to make you uncomfortable, and I think I might be making you feel a bit awkward with it. But yeah. Well, anyway, no, that's all I wanted to sort of delve into the white nationalist subject. Yeah, so I'm purposely on the fence on that subject because I see your argument and I see the other argument. But just to finish off just to round it out, the reason why I agree with you, but also we can't just focus on ourselves individually. What we do on YouTube, what Maddie's Modern Life does, what Blair Cottrell, what Mike Latham, what all of these different people, Emma Eros and the Liberal Democrats, the Libertarians, what they're all doing in their own way is trying to actually make people see the light or their version of the truth. And the truth all comes down to basically that the government is screwing us over. And that's at the heart of how people become red pilled, the government, and how we're losing all of our freedoms. That's just one way, and one can be red pilled anyway. But in saying all of that, we can't focus on ourselves and our own identity. Yes, we need to live life. Yes, we need to make money. Yes, we can't focus on politics all the time because it would be draining. But at the same time, we're trying to make a difference in our own small way, right? That's why you're doing what you're doing. So yes, focus on your own political evolution, but like you're interviewing Mike Latham next week. Like that's huge. Like that's fantastic. Like you're doing what you're doing for a reason. It's bigger than us.
I would tend to disagree. I would say that the reason I'm interviewing Mark Latham is much more for my own development than for anything else, and to kind of achieve my own goals. And I think like
it's about the overall message.
But I think like the individualist argument is one that says, well, if I can kind of do what I think is good and do what I think is in my rational self-interest, then other people, it's also within their ability to see that and agree with it and associate, or disagree and disassociate, and then kind of through individual people's own decisions, you can either create something or not create something, and the basis of that is voluntary consent. And so I think that like whether people watch my stuff or not is.
Oh, I'll get them to sub to you. Hopefully after the end of the show, they'll subscribe to you, and then they'll watch our interview together on your channel.
Yeah, but anyway, that's just some thoughts I have. by no means am I married to them, or do I even necessarily think that they're correct.
Well, I love that about you, because when I was just 3 years ago, I was vehemently, militantly pro-Israel, completely. You couldn't change my mind. And now, having been a little bit more immersed, what are you smiling about?
I just know some pro-Israel people, also know some anti-Israel people.
Yes, that's my point. I've surrounded myself with both mindsets, and now I realize things that I might not have realized before. I still would consider myself, I still believe that we need to be allies with Israel, and that makes me lose a lot of that makes me lose people, which is fine. They can be closed-minded and be like, oh, she's an idiot because she still thinks we need to be allies with Israel. That's okay. People can think that. That's fine. But I also don't understand why criticizing Israel automatically makes you an anti-Semite. That's retarded. That's not true. You can criticize any country. What were you going to say?
If I was, this might get me in trouble.
Please say it.
I don't know why denying the Holocaust is illegal in European countries. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think it's disgraceful.
It is disgraceful.
And all the right-wing people don't seem to bat an eyelid at it but they love the free speech thing. It's like free speech for people you disagree with.
Exactly.
And it's like, well, if okay, I believe the Holocaust happened, but let's say there's a chance it didn't happen. Like, I would like to know about it. I would like to investigate it if there are people with putting forward evidence and things that it didn't happen. But
exactly, that's what the
go to yes.
I agree with you. Yeah, and that's my whole point. Like, in Germany, you can be put into prison for saying the Holocaust didn't happen, or that it did happen, because I think it did happen, but I don't think a lot of it, the way we've been told it's happened, has happened. I think it's been significantly altered by the winners of history, and they've been able to change history and all of that kind of stuff. And that's the problem.
It could be. It could be. We talk a lot about the deep state on the Carnage House. It's a favourite of ours.
Nice.
And that wouldn't surprise me at all if that was if there was some embellishment or some changing of the story. I mean, we know that. I mean, when I was living in China, I lived when I was in China for a year in a city called Nanjing, which is about an hour and a half out of Shanghai. Yeah.
Nice. Well done.
But and anyway, during World War II, the Japanese, within a month of entering Nanjing, had killed about 300,000 people, and terrible rapes all over the city. Right? It's referred to as either the rape or the massacre of Nanjing. But after World War II, for quite a long time, America. My understanding is that America pushed that it was kind of Chinese rumors, and that it wasn't true. And it was much later on that we discovered that it actually was true.
There you go.
I mean, we see similar things in the with the Gulf of Tonkin incident. I mean, I'm very skeptical of everything that's happening that's in the Middle East right now with Iran. I'd be very surprised if Iran had shot down the drones, bombed the Saudi oil fields, hijacked the British ships. I'd be very surprised if that was all Iran. I mean, we know that Bashar didn't do the chemical attacks on...
No, the Shah was a good guy.
On his own cities. I mean... Yeah, no, so I'm very sympathetic to the idea that... and I quite like America in general, I would say. I like the idea of America, at least. But yeah... very skeptical of kind of big governments and the winners of history, for sure.
No, fantastic. I think you're on the road to, no longer being a cuck.
I'm getting out of Cuckville.
No, I'm sorry. That was really mean.
You're sleeping on the couch, dear.
I'm on the couch. Don't tell everyone I'm in the next room. Don't tell everyone I'm in the next room. Shh.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
So wait, how fluent are you in Mandarin? This isn't.
Well, in the internationally recognized test, the HSK test, there's 6 levels. I'm between 5 and 6.
Wow.
I tried. Well, this is the reason. The reason I actually came back from China was I tried to study an economics degree in Chinese.
Wow, you're so
And
surprising.
but it was actually the maths that was too hard for me. The Chinese is actually okay.
Chinese people are great at maths.
They are very much better than me. I didn't even do maths at the end of high school. I dropped it, and then
neither did I.
Way better.
Wow, nice. We have so much in common. I speak fluent Spanish. You speak fluent Mandarin, and we both speak English.
The two sexiest languages in the world.
yeah. Chinese is so sexy.
Yeah.
Do you want to say Cantonese?
Sorry, no, I learned Mandarin.
Just Mandarin. Okay. Is it quite different, the Cantonese?
Yeah, Cantonese is harder, and in my opinion, well, I mean, no, the only people that speak Cantonese that can't speak Mandarin are in Hong Kong, I think, mainly. And, you know, it depends what you want to use Mandarin for.
Sure.
But, okay, Maddie's Modern Life has popped up with a message.
Sorry, yeah, I put it up on purpose because I didn't want to lose it, because when I'm on StreamYards, you tend to lose I can't tell if it's a super chat, but I think it is. So do you want to answer that?
Okay, 2 years ago, I thought, like Dougal, then I asked if Australia stopped being white, would it still be Australia? Culture is downstream from race.
All right, I'm going to take it off.
Good question. If Australia stopped being white, I think. Well, look, I've got a feeling that he would be that whatever answer I give, he's going to be able to outwit me on this one.
He's spent a long time on this subject, but don't worry.
He's not feeling those that I like I'm more attracted to being having a culture associated with ideas than race. And so if you have people of different colours who believed in freedom of speech, who believed in democracy, who believed in limited government and free enterprise, and there were Australians of all different colours who comprised that demographic, I think that would still be Australia, assuming they still liked, you know, cricket and barbecues and shit like that.
Am I Australian in your opinion?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when I was overseas in China, I mean, probably half the Australians I met were Asian who were coming back to China to like visit family and learn Chinese properly and things like that. And no, fully Australian in my opinion.
Fair enough, because I think what they argue is that a piece of paper doesn't make you a race. So if I went to Sudan and I lived in Sudan for the rest of my life, am I Sudanese because I have a piece of paper saying so? Or am I Australian or am I Latina? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the argument that the white nationalists put forth, and that's where I get a little stuck on. But I see that point of view. I see it. And I've been told that this is funny, listen to this. I wrote on my Twitter, there's nothing wrong with the word ethno-nationalist. Why are people so funny about it? And then someone told me to delete it. He said that's a condemnable statement, what you said, dear. I can't be seen with you publicly anymore. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yes, you might be getting me in trouble by association.
Yes, you interviewed me already. You already knew you were going to get in trouble.
I did interview you already.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm controversial.
Yes, no. I think that the best framework for discussion is to have no rules at all, and I think people should feel free to discuss any ideas they like. And if we put some ideas under the blanket, I think we're in trouble. Never rest. I'm sure you're a handsome dude as well. Hit me in the DM after. No homo.
No, I know you're not a homo. Okay, let me go up and see if there are any questions worth putting on the screen. I love StreamYard. Don't you love that you can put the questions on the screen?
It is pretty good. I've never used it before, and I'm kind of trying to divide my attention a little bit. But
no, that's all right.
But no, I do like it. I'm thinking I should start going live soon, because it also should mean that you don't need to do any editing and uploading, right?
Correct. So I still do interviews, and I'll be doing an interview soon. When I do when I get my American guests on, they are pre-recorded and then I edit it. But yeah, this is good when you do a. I
think that would be good, especially because my older brother's overseas, and if we need to make a video, we can do it in separate locations.
Exactly.
How big should the government be? I reckon as well, it's a good question, and it's. I think I think the better question is what should the government be in charge of, because that will say, well, how big's the government? One that I've really been thinking about, which I don't know, is
answer the other question first. Don't get.
One thing I have been thinking about is like, should the government be in charge or have a role in healthcare? Everybody would say it's well, so that's one issue. It's like, well, should the government be in charge of the military? Well, they are pretty irresponsible with the military, but I don't know if anyone else would be more responsible. So they probably should be in charge of the military. Roads, probably. I think a lot of I don't think the government should be in charge of the media. I don't think we should. I don't know why we have ABC, particularly when we have the internet.
Agree. Absolutely.
I don't know why we have I think a lot of the stuff that we pay money for is a bit silly. Like I don't know what Gillian Triggs does, to be honest. But she's on like 400K a year, I think. I think there's we seem to have enough money to give to the Clinton Foundation, so I think we need to take that back. But the truth is, I really don't know. There's an interesting question in terms of there's some real good social things that ideally should get done, but it's like, well, would I be more confident in the government doing them well, or would I be more confident in kind of charity or non-government enterprises doing them well? And it's kind of hypocritical of me to say, well, let's not do the government and let's have charities do it if kind of I'm not really involved with charity myself. So I'm still kind of working that one out. So the short answer is I'm good at criticizing the government, but not good at
you don't have a policy prescription worked out yet.
How big the government should be. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Okay, institutions, nothing to do with race. That's cute. This kid needs a lesson. Okay, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Maddie's Modern Life. Hit me with it.
Maybe you should go on his show. But if you go on his show, you'll definitely be tarnished.
I'll get thrown out of whatever social circles I'm still left in.
No. I think if you went on the Uncockables, that's neutral territory. That's fine. They might have you on soon anyway, because I know you'll be on Tim's show very soon. So.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's the plan, yeah. But I got you first.
I'm a sex worker in Nanjing. Oh, that's my buddy's commenting.
Oh, who's your buddy?
So Scott Miller. I'm saying he's a sex worker in Nanjing. That's me.
I'll put that on the screen. There we go.
That's
good on you, Scott Miller. However you make your money.
You got to do it.
It's still hard work. It's still called hard work.
It's and I tell you what, you put your 10,000 hours in and you get rich.
Exactly.
What hair products do I use? I don't actually use any. I was tripping out today because because when you're facing the camera, your hair's on different sides, and I was having a really hard time. Like, I have this thing. What's that? But this just got naturally dried. I use shampoo and conditioner when it's available and it's not run out in my shower. That's about it.
Okay. What about this question? Are boomers as frustrating to you as they are to me, which is an absurd amount?
I think boomers is my parents' age, right? That's my parents' age.
Ricardo
Bossi. Yeah, well, they seem to have.
That's a boomer.
I had an interesting chat the other day with one of my good friends that said they reckon if you grew up in the 1970s or 80s, that would be way more fun than growing up today.
I agree.
I don't actually think it's true, but
I think it is, because you're not worried about political correctness. You're not worried about the world coming to an end.
Well, I think there's a range of. I actually think we're in a much more calm political climate than we probably were in the 1970s. I mean, the intensity of like the anti-Vietnam War movement. I mean, back then you had like the Christian religious right, which I think is pretty much as bad as the PC warriors were today. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the 90s, the Christian religious right were trying to ban The Simpsons off TV.
And I love The Simpsons. Well, I don't.
And I mean, I think if you look at like the Gamergate stuff, then they like the Christian religious right when they were bashing video games, saying the exact same things that like Anita Sarkeesian and those people are saying about video games. I mean, Milo Yiannopoulos did a column about who said it. Was it the Christian religious guy or was it Anita Sarkeesian, I think?
Anita Sarkeesian, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you think it is racist to bring the smartest people from developing countries here for a better life when our aid and their talent would serve their own countries better? Yeah, I suppose so, anxious Aussie, but I know you're asking Dougal, not me.
Yes. Again, I'll talk on these questions, but I'm not going to have any answers. I mean, this brain drain question, I'm sympathetic to, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm a smart guy, I want to be able to live where I want. So it's like, do you put the group ahead of the person or the person ahead of the group? And it's like, I tend to put the person ahead of the group. Come on, the Uncuckables.
Some right. Our little friend was on last week, and Joel Jamal was on the week before, and I'm supposed to be on the following week. So you can probably go on
Uncuckables.
Yeah, on the Uncuckables. You can go on tomorrow.
I'm going to have to do my research before I get on, huh?
Well, Joel Jamal's been on, and you know he's a wise boy.
He is the Arab. I don't know how he made it through the talent casting.
Well, Bettina Arndt loves him.
Bettina Arndt does love him. Go to their show next week. I'm going to be there, I think.
Yeah, do you know what? I was going to stay in New South Wales for another week or two, but then I thought it wouldn't be fair on Emma that I stayed at her house for another 2 weeks. So I was like, no, I'm going to go home. Like, it's just unfair to overstay your visit, like your free stay.
Yeah.
And you never offered your apartment. So I was like, I'd better go home.
Yeah, well, I hate having to. Anyway. Moving swiftly onwards.
Swiftly onwards. Okay, let's have a look. I don't usually read the questions out this early, by the way, but I thought it'd be fun because everyone is interested. Hi, dear, just came on here, but have to go to work soon. Could you start your streams 1 hour? No, I can't start my streams 1 hour earlier. The reason they start at 8:15 is because they used to start at 7:30, and Tim Wilms wanted me to move them to 8. So I'm sorry, but that's why I do them at this time. I did it for Tim, and then he puts a live show on at the same time as me anyway. I'm clearly considerate. But anyway, let's keep going.
Okay. What else we got?
It's
can
all
I put comments up on the can I put comments up on the thing or not?
I think you can. Go ahead, try. You go on the comment and then you click on show in the middle.
Oh,
can you?
No, I can't do it as a guest.
Oh,
anyway.
Okay. So which one did you want me to put up?
No, it's fine. I had my friend comment, is he gurning? Do you know what gurning is?
No, what does it mean?
Well, I'm not going to say. It's going to get me in trouble.
Okay.
But no, I'm open for any comments, any discussion.
Direct him towards Asha Logos and John Mark. If he wants to start an education on reality, he will enjoy them. I don't even know who they are, but there you go. If you want to be educated, you're supposed to read those people or watch those people. Okay.
Well, I'll if you can remind me at the end of the show so I don't forget, I'll go check them out.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, let's keep going with the discussion, and we'll read more questions towards the end. Because we have 15 minutes left anyway, and then with a full hour. But so. Is there anything in particular that brought you to realize that to this political realization that you have now that Australia seems to be descending into madness?
I would say I'm more and more optimistic, actually.
Why? Really? That's good, but why?
More and more optimistic. Well, I think you look at, I mean, people keep saying that the countries are divided and people are getting polarized. I actually think there's probably been a lot of times, even in the last 100 years, where people are way, way, way more divided than they are now. And also, I think Jordan Peterson mentioned this recently, which I thought was a really good point, is that the polarization, to the extent that it exists, is largely caused, is largely a symptom of the dying mainstream media. So far as you see, the mainstream media is dying. Okay, Joe Rogan gets 150 million podcast downloads a month. He's the most influential media figure in the world by many, many, many times. And you look at something like the New York Times, which has all the status and reputation, but is just not getting any hits compared to these alternative media sources. These guys are going down. They're losing money. In my mind, it's a beautiful thing. But what's one of the things that they, in order to generate clicks, they create more and more polarizing stories. That's actually my buddy who I was doing, who I had the homoerotic banter with. He was the guy who got in trouble with on the trip. But
okay.
But no. So I think a lot of the polarization, or at least it makes a bit of sense if some of the polarization at least is caused by dying mainstream media rather than real polarization in the streets. I mean, you look at, I'm sure that, I mean, you had a pretty mean article written to you about The Guardian, but how many times have you had someone be mean to you in real life? My guess is
my whole life. I was bullied like shit.
I mean about your channel.
No one.
Yeah,
not in real life.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. And as long as people actually have to go out and deal with reality every day at their jobs and with their kids and with their friends and stuff, I think that there's always a good opportunity for them to see logic and reason in what you're saying, because it will naturally flow on from other people, from other aspects of their life, assuming that what you're saying is kind of good content. And I mean, I think that's why Jordan Peterson is so popular. I mean, the stuff he says seems obvious to all of those people who listen, but it's actually, we just needed to reorientate ourselves a little bit within the culture, I think. And that's why he was so popular and so many people are so receptive to his content.
Yeah. All right. Apparently I missed the super chat earlier, so I've just, hang on. Squeak, 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 glass of the juice. I don't even know why you wanted me to read that. That's the other one. Okay, well, if that's literally worth reading to you. I read it, but I can't put it on the screen because it doesn't let me. All right, cool. Look, my husband, Dean, the Freedom Chef McRae, is in the live chat. My New South Wales husband. Don't worry, you're still my boyfriend.
I guess that's the better position of the two.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Dean McRae, he's doing a debate against Samrat. You know.
I think I've seen that on. I think I might have shared it. Maybe.
I hope you did. It's going to be a debate on my channel. Is the LDP as dead as Fred?
That's pretty funny.
How mean is that?
Good. Hopefully, I'll be able to tune in. I'll be keen.
Well, that's a Sunday night, and so I remember I had Joel Jamal and Samra on my channel not too long ago, and they were talking about what happened with the whole Fred Nile thing, and then Samra had the audacity to say, who cares about the Liberal Democrat Party? They're not anything. They're not important. And the Freedom Chef, Dean McRae, was in the audience, and he was like, what the hell is this little pissant talking about? And I thought, wow, let's turn this into a debate for my channel. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Who do you naturally side with on that topic?
To be honest, as frustrating as I find Samra, I think he is right. But Dean's been my friend for a long time, so I know he'll be able to destroy Samra easily.
Okay, cool. Well, you're a good promoter. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Oh, thanks. Do you consider yourself in any way, shape, or form libertarian? Because I am a soft libertarian, but I'm not a libertarian.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it depends. It's like, are you an Ayn Rand libertarian, or like a Milton Friedman libertarian, or like a
that's true.
Libertarian, like right. I mean, I'm more libertarian than I am conservative, and I'm more libertarian than I am anything else. But
sure.
But also, I don't really know what I am is an issue as well. Like I don't have an answer for what I am.
Well, in terms of libertarian, what I mean is, this is what I mean. I don't know the varying degrees of it because I haven't researched libertarianism that much. But this is why I tell people I can't be libertarian. This is my argument. Okay. So the libertarian tenet, the basic foundation of libertarianism is you do you, I'll do me, and that's it. Like, you know, I won't intrude on your rights if you don't intrude on mine.
The words of John Stuart Mill. You do you, I'll do me.
Exactly. But I would impose on your rights if I could. If you had the desire to chop your hand off because you wanted, well, I don't want my hand. I don't want it. But there are people out there who believe that they shouldn't have their body parts. I would stop you if I could. And so that definitely doesn't make me a libertarian. That makes me far from a libertarian. I would stop you personally from chopping off your hand if I could. I would stop you personally from committing suicide if I could. I would stop you or your sister or whoever from having an abortion if I could. So I'm not a libertarian based on that reason alone. I know people are writing in the audience that I'm a fascist and that I should be more specific with the libertarianism example, but I admit it.
That's an argument. I wouldn't have a strong opinion on either way as well. I mean, the argument for compulsory education up to year 12 is because if you actually graduate year 12, that gives you a lot more freedom in the world than if you didn't graduate year 12. And so the argument in support of that compulsion is one based on freedom, which is hard to reconcile. But and the answer is I don't really know either. But I think that probably the battleground of a lot of political issues isn't close to that, and so I don't know how much it's worth worrying about.
True. Yeah.
At the same time, it's an interesting exercise that I don't know.
Yeah. So someone is saying that I'm a fascist, but then Jason is defending me by saying, well, we're back to fascist. Dia isn't indicating policies to do so. It's just a personal value. Thank you, Jason. He was in my video actually not that long ago. How come you didn't come to the New South Wales abortion rally? You could have said goodbye to me, you prick.
Is that me or Jason?
You. How come you didn't come to the pro-life rally?
Well, because I'm pretty confused about the whole pro-life, pro-choice debate regarding the abortion bill. I mean,
9 months, they're basically saying we should be able to. Basically, they're removing choice altogether. Doctors aren't even allowed to do it.
So that's one of the things. I mean, doing my responsibility as a YouTuber or failing to, I haven't read the documents.
That just looks funny to me. So, go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, other people have explained it to me that it's mainly just taking abortion out of the criminal code and putting it under like the health code or something. But I don't think I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And my views on abortion are.
Yeah, actually, what are your views on that? That's a good subject.
Well, I think it's. I think that if you can avoid an abortion, I think it's generally a good thing. But I think like I don't really have an issue with early term abortions, and by that I mean I guess like first trimester, but I don't have a good definition for that. I guess I'm against late term abortions. That's pretty bad. In the middle, it's fuzzy. I guess people are. That's probably where most people are. That are kind of fuzzy about that middle intermediate period. Do I believe that life is at conception and that human rights are given at conception? Like, I don't think so. It is a very difficult one for me. I mean, I actually did have a quite a serious pregnancy scare at one stage in my life, which I'm going to leave that one there because
it wasn't with me, ladies and gentlemen.
Because it's but anyway, I mean, when you're actually in that situation, you don't become idealistic anymore, or you might be less idealistic than you might have perceived when it's actually you who's in that position. So I have sympathies going both ways is what I would say.
All right, so just Jason's written quickly for the abortion. It's already legal in New South Wales. They are putting the line to 20 weeks before 2 doctors can grant it to you without a line outside of birth. Does that make sense?
Okay.
He's right about that. That's
okay. This is another strange definition, like of viability. But I think the viability argument is kind of at least where the line should be, if not earlier. Like I think that's at like 22 weeks. Like if it can survive without the mother, I think that's like at least where the line should be. I know like in Virginia they had like even the governor went on the radio and talked about like post-birth abortions in some instances. Like like I think the line should probably be earlier earlier than the middle of the pregnancy, but also not at the start of the pregnancy. I'd say somewhere kind of, yeah. So that's all. That's the only parameters I would have, and I don't have strong enough beliefs on it to go and march on it a lot because I'm not educated enough on the issue. Would I be cool with my brother or sister being aborted on their birthday? Depends which day you ask me. Knowing it's a good change on different days of the week. But no, if you're asking me at 9 months, would I want anyone aborted? No. Ginger joke. How original. But welcome. Welcome.
Drove off a cliff in a Toyota Tarago. The police called it a terrible tragedy as the car could have seated 7. But
mm-hmm. I'm glad you got a lot of enjoyment out of that, dear.
I did. Don't worry. We already established earlier that you're incredibly handsome.
I'm getting offended.
Don't be a cuck. Oh my God. This guy never rests is obsessed with you.
The ginger race is going extinct. I didn't know the ginger race. I guess is it a? This is what I don't know what a race is.
No, you're part of the white race, but you're a particular
Celtic or something.
It's something like that, yeah. Well, do you know what's funny? Do you know Jessica Alba?
Yeah.
So Jessica Alba is half. Well,
she's around my place there last week.
She's a hot Mexican Latina woman, but she's half Mexican, half white. Sorry.
Nothing. Keep going.
And her husband is half black, half white. Their eldest daughter that they had looks extremely Latin, extremely Latina. The youngest son that they just had is extremely Mexican looking. The middle daughter is a redhead. So
that's pretty funny. Good. Yeah. They have strong genes. It's fake news that they're going extinct. Let me tell you, these ginger boys can swim. They're good swimmers.
Evidently. Well, I think, like how they say that the daddy longlegs is the most poisonous spider ever, but you never know because it's so long it never bites you. That's an old wives' tale. That's actually not true. It's also not true that when you eat food you shouldn't jump in the pool. So I think the redhead thing comes somewhere in those old wives' tales.
It is.
Yeah.
It's fake news.
It's fake news. It's this one say. I didn't even read it. Is this another joke? What was the most unbelievable, amazing, magical power demonstrated in the Harry Potter movies? A ginger boy with 2 friends.
Is this my friend Mick Taylor in real life, or is this a different guy? Let me know.
I bet it's your friend.
Well, I don't know.
I've never seen a Mick Taylor in my live chats. I know most of my subscribers.
Okay, cool. Yes. No, Ron was a great character. I really loved. I thought Ron was great. He was
a good character. My older brother is a redhead, as is my nephew. Rangers are all right.
Thanks.
But when you read something that Dean writes and it has the word "all right" in it, you have to go "all right."
Okay, it's better. It's even better.
That's how he speaks. But you'll meet him one day. You're bound to run into each other.
Sure, we'll cross paths. Joel reckons he's met everybody in the right. I guess they call it the right. What would you call what people are in this kind of? Would you call it a right-wing alternative circle? What would you say?
I don't know. I would say he's a libertarian first and slightly conservative second. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, and I don't even know. Like, someone's going to roast me in the comments for this, but if let's say you're a libertarian, are you still right wing? If you're against collectivism on the left and the right, but you're right wing because of economic. I find that hard to.
I think you're more centre right. The thing with libertarians is that some of them are pro-life, some of them are pro-choice. They're a very odd mix of people. It's very hard to really.
Like Ayn Rand was very much pro-choice.
Huh?
Ayn Rand was very much pro-choice.
And still a libertarian, right?
Yeah, she wrote some libertarian books.
Oh, okay. I know the name. I know who you're talking about. I just don't know. But I have a friend of mine who's been on. Her name is Tammy Candy. She's blonde hair.
You showed me a video of her with her.
Yeah, she's got massive boobs. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about. She's pro-life, but she's a libertarian. Do you know what I mean? So it's
it makes sense either way. The whole abortion question depends on when life starts, as far as I can tell, and nobody actually knows when life starts. I mean, religious people have an answer at conception. Well, some Muslim people don't have that same answer. Some people have a scientific answer. It's very hard.
babies are babies inside and outside the mother's womb. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Elizabeth.
Welcome, Elizabeth. Great to have you.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, the beaver. I was very disappointed to find out that the latest episode of Potatriots didn't feature Hogatha. They wouldn't have featured Hogatha. Some people are wise to what we're doing and some people have no idea, but that's okay.
Yeah, if you want to find out Hogatha, you have to check. Was it your most recent video?
My most recent, so you're my current live. Hogatha was last week's live.
Cool.
Yeah. And we're finishing up the whole Hogatha trilogy very soon.
Exciting.
What's the difference between a ginger and a snake? One is an evil, cold-blooded, venomous, slimy creature of Satan, and the other is a snake.
We have we got a few comedians in the comments, but I appreciate it.
Yeah,
bring it on. No, I like
it. Look at you. You're
actually
so
I need some tender loving care at some point from one of my homies. Come and tuck me into bed.
If only I was 10 years younger.
Well, it might be anyway. I'm gonna stop making jokes.
You haven't made a joke. I'm the one reading out the jokes.
What else we got? Any other good comments?
Let's have a look. The Hogatha live. That was a laugh a minute. Thanks.
Vando's going to kiss me goodnight. My buddy Vandros. Can we throw that up on screen, please? It's going to give me a little... Thanks, Vando.
Give him a kiss.
Oh, he's going to kiss me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what you need sometimes.
Okay.
Get tucked in by the boys. All right, Nick Taylor. Nick Taylor is a repeat offender. We're going to need to go outside, are we?
What do ginger kids have to look forward to later in life? Going grey. That doesn't really make sense. We all go grey. Hogatha versus Dougal would be interesting.
Seems like a great girl.
No. You have to call it a he or Jabba the Hutt or Hogwarts. He doesn't know if we were serious or not. I'm not going to answer that question because
you have to work that one out yourself, I think.
Yeah, they'll have to work that out themselves. But I did just mention a trilogy. But anyway, yeah. Well, look, we're up to 9:22. Dia keeps slipping off my chair. I'm not slipping off my chair. Anyway, I think we're good. Is there anything you want to say? Oh, well, everyone, please like, share, and subscribe to Carnage House Productions. They have great videos. They interview great political people like Ricardo Bossi and Bettina Arndt, and you'll be interviewing Mark Latham next week. Is that correct?
Yeah, that'll be coming out in the next few weeks. But we don't just do politics. We do like sports and culture and stuff. We do kind of whatever we're feeling like, but with the main focus on politics.
Well, you did do that amazing video that reached over 1,400 views. You're socialist. You were kicked out of a socialist convention. Do you want to give us a brief rundown on that?
Look, I wish I had a really good story for it, but we went to this Sydney Socialism Conference, and Brandon is a real MVP. And we went to actually listen to the ideas, record some of it if we could, give our reactions. I wanted to ask a few questions is what I actually wanted to do because I wanted to be able to pick the brains of some of the speakers, but we didn't even get to ask any questions. And then they came up to us through lunch, which was like halfway through the day, and said, we've gotten word you're a right-wing activist and we need to ask you to leave.
Oh my God.
I was literally shaking. And being someone who's kind of got libertarian leanings, I said it's your event. You can have whoever you like there. So we left graciously, and we made a video about it. But we have some footage of us getting kicked out. A few. What did we do? A few. What are you kicking us out for? With the. There was this guy, this other ranger actually. So I reckon 50% of the rangers I've been in touch with recently are of the wrong kind. He's the one who kicked us out, 6'7" man bun. So if you want to see the 6'7" ranger man bun, kick us out, he makes a main feature in that video, so you can go check that out.
So Jason's saying that any time you do it again, bring him along. He'll be happy to speak at the, yeah. He's a good guy.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate the solidarity.
Yeah, he's cool. He lives in New South Wales, so you guys could probably do something funny together with the socialists.
Cool. I actually want to interview some of the socialists. I want to hear what they actually have to say, but they just don't really want to talk to me. Is what the problem is.
No, absolutely. This is a good question.
I'm studying commerce and arts, which is I'm actually studying finance and Chinese studies.
Well done.
But I'm in my first year, so I'll be, if I can make it to the end, we'll see.
Well done. That's good. I still haven't finished my freaking diploma. Am I studying?
I said you are studying.
Yeah, political science. It's just a diploma. Once I finish that, I want to parlay into that international relations. But we'll see. Like, I may not.
That'd be good.
Well, yeah, I think so. It'd be interesting. Oh my God, that's mean. Oh no, it's not mean. Sorry, I thought he meant that the course you were doing was basically not worth doing, but he means because I think he's talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah, Ron Weasley. Yeah. Can I say Ron Weasley ends up with the hottest girl in all the movies?
Hermione. She ends up being Beauty and the Beast, which means Belle, beautiful.
Gorgeous girl.
Gorgeous girl.
Some questionable political beliefs, my girl Emma, but
yeah, she's a fan.
You know what? I think I could change it. I think I could make it work.
You can change her.
I can. I'm sure I could.
You could. She's pretty beautiful. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. All right.
Oh, well, I think we're good. Guys, stay tuned for Carnage House Productions and their video with me coming soon. I think it'll be released tomorrow or the day after.
Yeah, I'll finish editing it tonight. It was basically finished. We just needed to double check we got our good angles, and that'll be exported and uploaded.
Yeah. Do you like cats?
I like cats after dogs, horses, cows, rabbits, mice.
All right. We
can
never date.
Horses already?
We can never date.
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
Her name is Celia Cruz. She's Cuban.
It's got a Mexican name.
No, Cuban.
Okay, beautiful. Well, it's been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. No, that's all right. And you'll soon be on the Wilms front, will you? Is that correct? You'll be on Tim's show soon?
Yeah, I'll be on one of Tim's shows, I think.
No, my God, they have so many. I'll be on Detonation, I think, next week or the week after with.
He's a busy boy, our friend Tim. A busy boy.
He is. He works really hard. He does. He just likes to steal my hour, but that's okay.
We're going to chase him up. Send him a sternly worded letter. Is this my real life friend or not? I'm very. Anyway.
I don't know. Hey, Mick Taylor, are you his friend in real life, or are you just a random Mick Taylor that happens to have the name Mick Taylor? Answer, and then I'll hang up, and then we'll end the live.
Mick Taylor is the real MVP of this live session.
Well, he did consume it with all of his jokes. I love StreamYard.
All right. Thank you, Brandon Johnson. It's been a pleasure having you with us.
Yes, it is. Max Power. Thank you both. No worries. Guys, stay tuned for my channel. I'll be releasing some very revealing content about an individual who I interviewed last week. So stay tuned for that. He's not your friend. He doesn't. I don't like redheads.
Okay, cool.
But that's not your Mick Taylor.
We should be friends.
Sound has been much better. That's good. Cool. I'm glad to hear it. All right.
Jason, send him through, brother.
Yeah, send him through. He can email you on. Have you put your email address in the about section of your YouTube page?
No, we don't really have. Just send it on the DMs on either Facebook or Instagram. That's the
Oh
best.
yeah, that works.
Contact
Oh
us.
yeah, you have an Instagram. I forgot to add that, but they'll find it. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm going to end the broadcast now, and remember to subscribe to Carnage House Productions and to stay tuned on my channel for a couple of extra little tidbits regarding Hogatha. Bitch is going down, and next week I'll have, I think, Von Black on my channel. Von Black is a mother who lost her daughter to Islam. We think it was an honor killing, so I'll be interviewing her, I think, next week. If not, I'll have a guest. Don't know who, but I'll have a guest. Okay, see you later, guys.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. I'm just going to end the broadcast. Where you can hang up if you want. I'm just going to end the broadcast here. End broadcast.